Welcome to the 2020 and 2021 Noble Public Schools Awards and Recognition Banquet. Last April would have marked the 16th consecutive awards and recognition banquet, but due to COVID-19, we decided to play it safe and postpone until we felt we can celebrate safely. We scoured the calendars to try to find any open date we could, and finally we dawned on April the 25th at 2:30 on a Sunday. So thank you for being in attendance. With that said, today marks the 16th and the 17th Annual Noble Public Schools Awards and Recognition Ceremony. Right now, we get to share this day as not just as a district, but as a community. Without this community, without the support of this community, Noble Public Schools could not be the district that we are. We are Noble Public Schools. This ceremony cannot be possible without the help of our community, our foundation, and our businesses. Once again, this ceremony is fully funded thanks to the generous donations. At this time, I would like to introduce those sponsors. Tiffany's Restaurant, Sun Construction, Dental Lodge, TAP Architect, Crimson Electrical Services, Professional Oklahoma Educators, Sonic Drive-In, First State Bank, Classen Urgent Care, Virgin Law Firm, Norman Regional Hospital, OEC, Nathan's Automotive, Steve Owens Insurance Group, Manhattan Construction, McLean Bank, Oklahoma Copier Solutions, American Fidelity, Horizon Financial Group, State Farm Dusty Treat, Bob and LaDonna Wallace, Loving Care, First Fidelity Bank, Noble Tag Agency, and Terry and Patricia Scott and Ortho Central. Can we give our sponsors a round of applause? Today we celebrate. We celebrate as a district, but even more, we celebrate as a community. We are Noble Public Schools. Today we honor our district and site teachers of the year. Today we honor our retirees, a few hidden surprises, and our support people of the year. Today we continue a worthy tradition of inducting new members into the Noble Public Schools Hall of Fame. And lastly, today we honor those that continue to help Noble Public Schools thrive through their continued service to this great district. Today, we honor our 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40-year service award recipients, but for the first time ever, we will also honor a 45-year service recipient. Now, before we get started, I want to put the service awards in a better perspective for you. Yes, it's easy to say 15 years ago or 30 years, but let's make this a little more relevant, shall we? So let's just put the 30 years and up in perspective. I scoured the internet for the most famous movie quotes of that time. So if you started your year in 1989, this was the movie quote. I'm Batman. And if you didn't like that one, here's another one for you. Just a bit outside. If you started your 30 year in 1990, you woke up to this one. It's not a tumor. Or, ah! If you started in 1984, you're 35 years. You had the iconic quote, show me wax on, show me wax off. Or, wait a minute, Doc, are you telling me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean? My numbers are off, there we go. All right. If you started in 1979, 40-year service, your movie quote, I just love the smell of napalm in the morning. Or this from Alien. Or you were a 40-year in 1980. One of the most famous quotes, no, I am your father. Or, here's Johnny. And then the most famous one, since we finally have a 45-year recipient, the quote, Orf, Orf, from Benji. Today, just like the famous movie quotes that we've stood the test of time, we know we can rely on our public schools and take pride in them. And more specifically, we can continue to take pride in Noble Public Schools. Today, we celebrate. Today, we are Noble Public Schools. Today, whether you're a community member, an employee, a guest, today you're part of our family, the Noble Public Schools family. Before we get started with the program, I would like to introduce the following. Superintendent Mr. Frank Solomon. My counterpart over there, Executive Director Mr. Nathan Gray. I don't know if any of our board members are here, but I would like to recognize them anyway. Wendy Barnes, Rodney Barrett, Leroy Lukenbill, Scott Millette, and James Reed. Our principals, Janice Busick, Julie Curry, Mike Barefoot, Greg George, Crystal Standridge, Roger Clement, Steve Barrett, Jeff Allen, and Joe Rohr. And if any of our directors are here, Ms. Cynthia Davis, Austin Bays, Mary Hainline, Shirley Armbruster, and Kyler Solomon. At this time, I would like to introduce a very special lady, our Noble Public School Foundation for Academic Excellence President, Ms. Erica Wright.
So good afternoon. Thank you everybody for coming today. My name is Erica Wright. I am the president of the Noble Public Schools Foundation, and most importantly, I am a parent of 2 kids that attend Noble Public Schools. And I just wanted to step up and give you a little bit about what we're doing for all of you with our foundation. So the Noble Public Schools Foundation, what we exist to do is to raise money throughout the community to turn around and give back to grants for classroom teachers. So at the beginning of the year, our board of directors, which are all here today, I think we're going to recognize them later. At the beginning of last year, our board of directors set a pretty lofty goal. So we set a 10-year goal and a vision to raise over $1 million in our endowment foundation. We are currently about a quarter of the way there, which is some great news. When we do achieve that goal, what that means, so when we bring in $1 million to our endowment, that money is then turned around and invested, and we take the returns on that investment to fund teacher grants for our teachers, classroom grants for our teachers. So once we reach that $1 million goal, what that will translate to is $50,000 every year at that point for teacher grants in the classroom, even if nobody ever gives a cent after the year 2030. So we're really excited about that. We've got a great board of directors. We have a lot of new people serving on the board, and we've got a lot of really big plans to achieve that goal for you guys. So when you leave, if you didn't notice when you came in, there's out by our table sponsors, we have a table with a section of a new fundraiser that we're going to be launching probably the end of May, first part of June. So you'll want to stay tuned with that. So when we had our big snowstorm, the gym at the admin building, the old junior high gym, flooded, and they had to remove the floor. And so what we were able to do, and we're really excited about it, you guys are the first ones to hear about it besides our board, we have taken those and made them into plaques, so you can purchase a piece of the old gym. They're sitting out on the table. They're going to be really, really neat. There's going to be a limited number of those. So be watching our Facebook page, and we'll be announcing when you can go in and purchase those for $100 a piece, and we'll turn around and use that money to put further into the endowment for our goals. So that's our next big fundraiser. And with that, I'm just going to close with a message to you guys. And I didn't know I was going to be standing up here, so I don't have anything pre-written. But on behalf of our board of directors and on behalf of the parents of this community, you know, this has been such a challenging year for all of you in this room. And I just want to say thank you to our teachers for, okay, I don't want to cry. Thank you to our teachers for loving our kids this year and teaching them. You spend more hours a day sometimes with our children than we do. And we see you, we know what you've done. This year, you've gone above and beyond, and so from this parent to all of you, thank you very much. To our bus drivers, thank you for transporting our children safely with all of the extra restrictions you had this year. We know it's a difficult job, and we appreciate you and we see you. To our cafeteria team, thank you for nourishing our children. Through all of this, even when they weren't in school, you guys were out there busting your tails to make sure that bellies were full in this community. And we appreciate you so much. To our custodians, man, you guys have really had a job this year keeping things clean and sanitized, and everybody on this list has gone above and beyond. To the rest of our office staff, our nurse back here, I don't know where she is, raise your hand. Our nurse back there, caring for our kids and caring for kids with scraped knees, and then to our counselors for caring for our kiddos with scraped hearts and minds. This has been a rough year on kids, and we as parents could not have done it without our mental health professionals in this school. To our principals, you guys have been the leaders at each site, leading through a year with just extraordinary demands, so thank you for that. Thank you to our school board also for leading. And most importantly, I wanted to stand up here because I know today is about celebrating all of you, but nobody's celebrating these guys standing up here with me. So can we please just take a moment to give them a round of applause, because I really feel like, here, we'll do that first. I will stand on the mountaintops of this great state. Well, we don't really have many mountaintops, but you know. Anyway, I will shout from the mountaintops. I think we have the best administrative team in the state of Oklahoma, and we're really proud as a foundation board to be able to work with such a great team of leaders. So thank you all very much, and I'll shut up and get off the stage now. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, if you are here tonight or today and you are receiving a 10-year service award or any award, what we would like for you to do when we ask for you to do this is you're going to come over here to the ramp, come up the ramp, come across the stage when Mr. Gray reads your name. But if you are here for a 10-year, whether that's from 2019, 20, or 2021, if you would go ahead and come over here so we can recognize our 10-year service award winners.
Really see what that's.
No. Come on, come on.
Yeah.
You got Susan. I got Susan's. Okay. Don Owens and then Paula Miller. Right here. Okay. Congratulations.
Oh, are we ready?
Oh yeah, we're ready. Read them.
All right, let's go some names then. We've got. I'm looking over here. Susan Helton. Don Owens, Paula Miller, Jenny Clement, and Katrina Houston. If you've been with Noble Public Schools for 15 years now, if you'll make your way to the stage.
Oh yeah, is Raphael here?
Oh, Raphael's hiding
Where's
in the back.
Raphael?
We're going to let Raphael sneak in, and then we will start our 15.
He was trying to avoid us.
Yeah. Read where they're from. Good job, Raphael.
10-year. Let's give him a big round of applause. Now starting our 15-year. Amanda Myers, Pioneer Elementary. Alicia Lee, KID. Kendra Barnett, Middle School. Tim Shortis, Middle School. Kate Caldwell, High School. Austin Krieger, Middle School. And Crystal Standridge, Middle School. Now if you're a 20-year, if you'll make your way to the stage.
20 years. Yes. 20 years. Are you making Doc come up?
Yes.
Oh, well then we're going to make you come up. Hang on. Oh. Right here.
And we're going to start with the very first 20 years, our very own superintendent, Mr. Solomon.
Thanks.
All right. Miss Walters, KID. Miss Roberts, Hubbard.
Congratulations.
Who did he say? Oh,
Miss
Roberts.
Grayson,
Carol.
Hubbard.
Jennifer.
I'm telling you, the spotlight's
Miss Terrell, Central Office.
Dot.
Nope.
I know. I already told her.
Miss Starr,
That's right.
Middle School.
Nope. Megan Starr. Oh.
And then Officer Ford, our SRO. And he's got something very special to present at this time.
20 years. It's a long time ago. When I started this, I came to this school and I met, either my first or second day, I met Frank Solomon. And with the federal program, the school had to send one person with me to the SRO training program. And Frank was the one that was selected to be able to go through that. We have been in a working relationship that has been pretty astounding throughout our 20 years. We have assisted other agencies with investigations from the Secret Service, FBI, United States Marshals. We've investigated and helped investigate crimes associated with all of those different agencies, as well as the local agencies, and practically any crime that you can think of has been investigated. Now, Frank being the superintendent, which also makes him my boss and my chief, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and have an honorary chief's badge presented to Frank Solomon.
You know, when Terry asked if he could do this, you always say yes to a man with a gun. So, thank you, Terry.
All right, we're at 25 years. If you've been with the school for 25 years, if you'll make your way to the stage. All right, first out of the chute is Miss Glenda Yandell, KID. Cheryl Coates, Hubbard Elementary.
Good job, Cheryl.
CC Peterson, Middle School.
Thank you.
And Mr. Evan Boren, High School.
Thanks, man. Proud of you.
If you've been with Noble Public Schools for 30 years, if you'll make your way to the stage. And
While she is making her way, I got to tell you, we've watched a couple of performances in here. We watched Charlie Brown, You're a Good Man, The Beauty and the Beast, and I'm telling you right now, I don't know how these kids do this with these lights up here. It's amazing to see them in action, but this is blinding right now. So,
all right, for 30 years, Miss Opal Snively from the middle school. If you've been with Noble Public Schools for 35 years, if you'll make your way to the stage. First, we've got Vicki Brady from Central Office.
John's got a mic.
I don't need it.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
there's your battery for you.
And then Mary Powell, Pioneer.
Congratulations, Mary.
If you've been with Noble Public Schools for 40 years, if you will make your way to the stage.
40 years. Let's start with the two from last year.
We'll start from the two from last year. That would be Mr. Peck, High School Science.
40 years.
And Susan Cadell, High School English Language Arts.
Good job, Susan.
And then last but not least, Mr. Hal Clary, Middle School Science.
40 years, 40 years.
If you've been with No Public Schools for 45 years, if you'll make your way to the stage.
First time ever, 45 years.
All right, as he's making his way, our very first ever 45-year recipient, Lyndall Cadell, Middle School History.
Good job, Lyndall. Now, this year we want to do something special. We took you through our service awards all the way from 10-year to 45 years. And I asked those that just got their service awards to go back to that very first year that you gave your life to teaching the kids of Noble or working for us at Noble. And we want to recognize those that were first-year teachers this year. And when I say first year, not necessarily new to Noble, but they new to the profession. So when I call their name, if they would please come forward. Leland Palmer. Leland is a Noble alumni. He is a PE teacher for pre-K and K, and he works out pretty regular as a fitness trainer. Mr. Leland Palmer. The next one I want to recognize is a first-year speech pathologist at Hubbard. Can Kirsten Underwood come down front, please? And while she's making her way down front, I would also like, if Risa Fanman is here from Pioneer Special Ed, completed her first year. She is. Good. And is Christine Broslow here? First year librarian at Hubbard. If not, I'll go ahead and introduce, I know the others may not be here, is Kayla Whitlock. She's at a birthday party for her daughter. She's an elementary counselor for us. Suzanne Parker is a high school counselor for us overseeing ICAP. Tiffany Burns couldn't be here. She's at Pioneer PE. They had a church function. And I don't know if Keaton Kilpatrick is here. Keaton is a first-time art teacher for us and is also a Noble alumni. But those are our recipients that have completed their first year. So we go from 45 years to our first year, and now we go to those that are basically, they put their career in, and they have officially retired. And with those, I would like to acknowledge several of them. And I know they're not all here, but I want you to hear the years of service that some of these members have put into us. Kathy, these are the 2020 retirees. Kathy Zahari was a middle school counselor. She was hired in 1997. She had a bachelor's in OU from social work and master's in OU in licensed professional counseling. She worked at kid and middle school, and she put in 24 years of education. Jane Lovett taught both music and elementary ed at Hubbard. She began in 1990. She has a master's in reading from OU, 35 years in education. Hugh Cooper, PE teacher at Pioneer, started in 2000 in Noble. Taught in Norman for many years, had 40 years overall in education. Simone Davis, 5th grade teacher for Pioneer, was hired in 1993 and rehired back in 2012. She started in Noble, then went to West Virginia, loved us so much she came back. 26 years in education. And I know this next one is here. High school math teacher, was hired in 2008. Has a bachelor's and a master's degree from OU in industrial engineering. In 1993, completed her graduate certification program in secondary math education. She taught in Moore, taught in Norman. She was nationally board certified. She was a state finalist for Oklahoma Teacher of the Year in 2014. 28 years in education. Miss Bettina Jones-Para. I would like to go ahead and ask all of our retirees if they would go ahead and make their way, and then when I read your name, to come on across. Our next retiree started in 2007 with Noble. She was a counselor at the high school. She had a bachelor's degree in elementary education from OU, a master's in school counseling from Southwestern Oklahoma State University. She was a counselor in El Reno and more before joining our high school. 37 years in education, Miss Jamie Evans. This next one was hired in 1991. She got her bachelor's degree in special education from East Central. She was a special education teacher at KID. She was a pre-K teacher at KID. She was a second grade teacher at Hubbard. She has 29 years overall in education, Miss Kirsten Tarp. This next one was hired in 1980. A bachelor's degree in music from John Brown University. Received her master's in music in organ from OU. She taught music, but fell in love with English language arts. And trust me, she made the kids from Noble High School know English language arts. 41 years in education, Miss Susan Cadell. This next one was hired in 1975. They were a Noble alum, 1971. Got a bachelor's in history from OU and a master's from OU. They were 3-time District Teacher of the Year. I went back and I pulled his file. I looked at his application. And you'll be shocked at some of the questions we asked 45 years ago. Do you have any bodily defects? What is your church preference? This guy has 45 years in education, 45 years to Noble. Lindo Cadell. That wraps up those that retired last year. Now as we move into 2020, 2021, this young man was hired in 2012. He's currently at Hubbard as a teacher assistant for PE. He was the Hubbard custodian before that. Before he started working for Noble, he worked at Shawnee Regional Hospital. He was an inventory control and a home dialysis trainer technician. He is the go-to man for anything. He was a support person of the year one year. He constantly works out and runs, and he loves family. 9 years working for Noble Schools, Mr. Tom Clowers. This next one couldn't be here, but she was hired in 1990. She taught music for 12 years, and the rest of her years of service as a librarian. She had a bachelor's from Southeastern Oklahoma State University in music ed, got her libraries from Southeastern Oklahoma State University, kept us well stocked in books, 33 years in education, Linda Flint. This was hired in 2001, hired as a reading specialist. She received a bachelor's from East Central University, a master's in reading from OU. She worked for Western Heights and then came to Noble. She retired. We rehired her back. Now she's ready to retire again. 41 years in education, Miss Carol Roberts. This next one I wish we had for a lot longer than we did. She got hired in 2018. She was a first grade teacher, received a bachelor's degree from Mid-America Bible College. She taught in Mustang, taught in the state of Colorado, taught in Snyder, Oklahoma, Blanchard, Oklahoma, and Newcastle. But of all of those, she will tell you that she loved Noble the best. She's getting ready to retire because she loves feeding cattle. 33 years in education, Miss Susan O'Brien. This teacher couldn't make it tonight also, or this afternoon, but she was hired in 2008. Bachelor's degree in elementary ed from Montana State University. Taught at Creative Kids before joining KID. Had the pleasure of teaching my son in pre-K. Was an integral in creating the family meal atmosphere in the pre-K rooms. 23 years in education, Miss Lori Sandin. Diana Glasgow was hired in 2004, Title I Math and Reading Specialist. Couldn't be here today. Bachelor's from East Central, taught in Lubbock, Holdenville, before coming to the middle school. 36 years in education. This guy started in 2007 with Noble. He was a high school and middle school band director. He also was a band director at Lexington for 13 years and Stigler for 6 years. He worked as an education consultant for Brooke Mays Music for 8 years before coming to Noble. Bachelor's degree from West Virginia University, where he was part of the Mountaineer Marching Band, taking great pride in band and set up the college wall to motivate band members. Mr. Fred Queen. This next one was hired in 1981. Also a Noble alum. They were famous for 7th grade science and junior high basketball. He only taught in Noble. Received a bachelor's from OU. As well, he's also well known for his taxidermy skills. For my first year in 1994, as a young teacher, Hal Clary took me under his wing. Great mentor. 40 years in education, Mr. Hal Clary. And our last retiree tonight, or this afternoon, was hired in 1980. Only worked for Noble Public Schools. Taught zoology, physics, AP biology. His bachelor's degree was from Southern Connecticut State University. He grew up in a military family, traveled all over. He was 2-time District Teacher of the Year. And still a strong mentor for young teachers. 41 years in education, Mr. Brent Peck. With that said, I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Gray to present the You Make a Difference Award.
You Make a Difference Award is sponsored by Gary and Donnie Hicks of Tiffany Restaurant. As the title of this award reads, it is given to somebody that puts forth that extra effort to make the difference. At Noble Public Schools, we have several that meet that criteria, and it was difficult to narrow it down to just one person. This person can be a teacher, support personnel, an administrator, or just anyone that is making a difference. Last year's 2020 award recipient...
Is Gary or Donnie here? Can we have them come up on stage if they are? Gary?
So last year's 2020 award recipient is well deserving of this award. They are always so positive, you just want to have them around. They can be found helping out wherever is needed. They can be filling in, running needed programs in the absence of a teacher or counselor. You can hear them cheering from the sidelines. This award is going to make her day. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present this award to Miss Paula Miller. Paula is currently a teaching assistant at Pioneer. Before moving to Pioneer, she worked as the TA for Kid Elementary. She helped oversee the backpack program to make sure our students were getting food to take home during the absence of the counselor. She can also be found at sporting events as the head high school cheer coach. We're glad to have Paula Miller as a Noble Bear who makes a huge difference. Once again, big round of applause for Miss Paula Miller.
Thank you.
All right, the 2021 You Make a Difference Award. What a year we had with COVID-19. There were so many people that truly made a difference for the students during this school year. To narrow it down, it was extremely hard. This year's recipient has been instrumental in making sure our schools have been able to stay open. You can find her in constant communication during the day and off hours and even on weekends. You can find her making sure kids feel well. And for that, we'd like to say, what do we want to say?
I think we could sing it better. Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. Happy kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr.
So at this time, we'd like to recognize Nurse Bebout, Nurse Shockley, and Nurse Grissom to the stage. Thanks to the effort of these three nurses, as well as so many others, Noble has been able to stay open all year long. And for that, you have definitely made Noble proud and made a difference. Let's give another big round of applause for all three nurses.
Oh, they're coming. There's Kenzie's. And then, oh, they're coming all at once. Here you go.
Congrats.
Congrats. Congrats.
Hey, girl.
All right, and that brings us to what we call the Above and Beyond Award. The Above and Beyond Award is given to our Support People of the Year. This award is selected from nominations from our employees. As the title of this award reads, it is given to somebody that puts forth that extra effort to go above and beyond daily. Last year's 2020 award recipients are both well deserving of this award. They are always hard at work. They're very knowledgeable. They are always wanting to do their best for their school and or district. The 2019-2020 Support People of the Year is Hubbard custodian Joella Naiman and Noble Public Schools Maintenance Director David Azell. Yeah, David's here. Yeah, there you go. As David's making his way down, a little backstory on David. Started in 1993. He's been with Noble for almost 28 years. And he is the go-to person when we need to know where something is. And I mean like a hidden water meter. What else could you think of? Anything that has to do with maintenance, he knows exactly where it is and what to be looked out for. But David Azell, 28 years with Noble, Support Person of the Year for 1920. Congratulations, David. The Support Person of the Year award also comes with a $500 check. The 2020-2021 Support People of the Year are from the same department. This is the first time that this has ever happened. Without this department, most of our kids would not be at school. Without this department, there would not be a cool song.
Oh, wait, I think I got this one because
You were the kindergarten teacher. We did so well on the other one. Let's see if we can get this one. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town. The first 2021 Support Person of the Year started in Noble in 2011, been with Noble for almost 10 years, and from my understanding, has not missed a day of work in the last 5 years. Mr. Rafael Sanchez. As Raphael is making his way down front, the second 2020-2021 Support Person of the Year. Mr. Solomon and I myself had the pleasure of interviewing this person back in 2007. We knew we wanted him to be part of our system. He's been with Noble for almost 14 years now. This person has worked tirelessly to make sure the fleet is up and running. Mr. Brian Kane. Congratulations, Raphael.
Congratulations, sir.
Surprise. Huh?
Yeah.
Let's put that one out and grab another one. Here. You go ahead and go through them. They'll say site teacher on them. That brings us to our site teachers of the year. We're going to start and do each school by themselves. So if I can have the site teachers of the year go ahead and make their way, all of you, make your way to the ramp, the site teachers of the year. We will go ahead and start. We're going to start with Katherine I. Daly Elementary. The 2019-2020 Site Teacher of the Year for KID started in Noble in 2012 as a first grade teacher. She's been the reading specialist for several years. She has a bachelor's from OU in early childhood and a master's from Northeastern State University in reading. She taught in Bixby 1 year before coming to Noble. Miss Sarah Singleton. The next one started in Noble in 2018 as KID librarian. She came to Noble before coming to Noble, she was in Norman and Putnam City. She has a bachelor's from Northeastern State University in elementary education and a master's from East Central in library media. And she is the only person to ever make me be able to sing in an interview when I'm interviewing her. And I remember the song, Raining Tacos. Miss Holly Burns. Yeah, hey, remind them. The 2019-2020 Hubbard Teacher of the Year started in Noble in 2009 and again in 2017. She's a Noble alumni. She has a bachelor's from OU in early childhood. She started in Noble, then taught in Okemah and Payton. She's done a wonderful job this year as the virtual first grade teacher, Miss Jenny Clement. Our 2020-2021 started with Noble in 1999. 22 years of service, bachelor's degree from East Central in early childhood, and a master's from East Central as a reading specialist. Her room is full of grants from Donors Choose. She's done a wonderful job this year as a virtual second grade teacher, Miss Shay Webster. Both of our middle school teachers cannot be here. One is at a volleyball tournament and the other one is at a baseball tournament. But I would like to recognize them. In 1920, Site Teacher of the Year was Chrissy Marcy, middle school reading and facts teacher and high school volleyball coach. And this year's Site Teacher started in Noble in 2015 as a kindergarten teacher, moved to the middle school a couple of years ago to teach 8th grade, is also a Noble alumni, Miss Rebecca Kretzinger. And our two, where's David at? Oh, he's coming. All right. So in 1920, he started with Noble in 2011 in the technology department. Sometime during that time span, he started helping out with student council and doing some IT work. And it made him he felt like he had a calling into education. so he looked at getting alternatively certified in history. He's been teaching computer science and broadcast media since 2018. He is one of our go-to people to help with technology and soundboards and sound systems. He has a bachelor's in from OU in human relations, Mr. David Rowden. Our 2020-2021 Site Teacher of the Year started in Noble in 1996. She has 24 to 25 years in education at the high school. She's a biology teacher, human anatomy teacher. She has a bachelor's from East Central in health and PE and a minor in biological science. She has a master's from East Central in library media. She's been instrumental this year in teaching virtual science. And I had the pleasure of teaching next to this young lady for many, many years. My hat's off to Miss Carol Ford. Congrats. Oh, you already got it? Okay. Yep. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Year, the award is sponsored by First State Bank in Noble, Miss Kim King. For our 1920 Teacher of the Year for Noble Public Schools is a Noble alumni. Received a BS from OU in elementary education, her MS from OU in instructional leadership and academic curriculum. She's been in education for 10 years. She taught in Oklahoma City and Norman before she came to Noble in 2018. This year she served as the Pioneer 5th grade ELA teacher, and she's instrumental in 5th grade virtual school all year. And if you ever walk by her room, it says, filming in progress, do not disturb. For a superintendent, that's a problem, and I have to peek my head in because I need to know what's going on. So she does let me come in. Congratulations, Noble alum, Ms. Skylar Smith.
Do we want to?
Yeah, the top will fall off. I've done it before, so.
Hey, Skylar, just stay right there.
Our 2020-2021 Teacher of the Year for Noble Public Schools came to Noble in 2005, taught 3rd grade at Hubbard, 5th grade math and science at Pioneer. Received her BS from East Central University in elementary education, her MS from UCO in early childhood education. She also has an elementary math specialist certification from OU. She taught in Oilton and more before coming to Noble. She also does the running club and the Sci-Pi STEM club. She's been in education for 30 years. Our 2020-2021 District Teacher of the Year is Miss Amanda Myers. Congratulations. As a part of our District Teacher of the Year, we've asked each of them to say a few words, so we'll begin with Skylar.
You go up here beside her.
Good afternoon. Many of you probably know me. I'm actually an alumni here. I was a 13-year senior when they gave out those awards. So this is a pretty big deal to come back to my hometown, to be a part of this community again. Being named the 2020 District Teacher of the Year was very surreal for me, and unfortunately was cut short due to an unprecedented pandemic. I missed those last few months that we had, but I am just so thankful to continue in my profession, in my calling as an educator here. I cannot thank God enough for placing me back here in Noble around former teachers that I have with students in a community who truly knows the value of education and community and wants to instill that. I think this year we all got a little taste of what it means to be a community, coming together, being forced sometimes to slow down and just be with our friends and our family again, to play board games at night because you can't go anywhere, or having those outdoor picnics and things, to just instill hope back into ourselves and into our communities. So I cannot thank this community enough for allowing me to be a part of it. I want to thank my husband. He has been my rock this year, especially going into virtual teaching, which is very, very new for a lot of us. And teachers, I just have to thank you, because I know each and every single one of you, I've seen you come together this year, and we didn't do it alone. It wasn't just me, it wasn't just you, it's all of us together, just trying to build a curriculum and a place where our students can truly thrive amidst the uncertainty of what this year has brought. So I thank you guys for that. I thank my family, who was always my cheerleader in school, and am just so, so thankful to be a Noble Bear. Thank you.
Well, first I want to thank the First State Bank and Noble Schools and the community of Noble, my husband, my kids, my parents, for their support of me being a teacher all these years. I'm honored to represent the First State Bank and Noble Public Schools as this year's District Teacher of the Year. I'm proud to say that I'm a teacher. I am absolutely proud to say that I work at Noble Public Schools. Our administrators are the best, the faculty, the staff. I love coming to work. And I mean, I have the best job. I get to come to school every day and hang out with fifth graders, and that's pretty cool. So I just want to say thank you for all your support, and that I love Noble, I love this school, and I just am happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Good job.
As a high school principal at Noble for 14 years, I knew about the Noble Public Schools Foundation, but not in great detail. I got involved because Randy Kersey told me I had to, and Kathy Bates said, yeah, we need you, and we got started about 9 years ago to make a difference in our foundation. We had to change the mindset of what a foundation for a public school was. Instead of selling cupcakes and pencils and making $1, we needed to find a way to fund classrooms. For the last 2 years, the Noble Public Schools Foundation has funded every single grant that has been submitted, this year totaling over $21,000. That first year when I got on the board, we gave out grants totaling $4,500. So it's an amazing program. Our teachers and our staff, many are members and supported through payroll contributions, as well as outside donors and fundraisers that we do. But think about, we have zero expense. Every dime that's raised goes into the endowment. We have no overhead whatsoever. We have a fundraiser, we'll have a dance, we'll have a bowling tournament, we'll do whatever. That's what pays for the expenses. Also, when I got involved in the foundation, this awards banquet was called the Noble Public Schools Foundation Banquet, but they didn't pay for it. Well, I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't seem like it really fits. I said, if we're going to sponsor this program and these awards and these stipends, then we ought to be paying for it. It shouldn't fall back on the school, or we should call it the Noble Public Schools Recognition Award. And the foundation has stepped up, and I know a lot of our board members are here, including Ms. Erica Wright, our president. So if you're here and you're one of our board members, please stand up so we can recognize you. I see most of them hiding back there in the back. One of the things that the foundation does is honor our Hall of Fame. So the 1920 Hall of Fame, I'm going to read this plaque to you. And as I start reading, the recipient, please come forward. The Noble Public Schools Foundation for Academic Excellence is proud to induct Mr. Gary Hicks, Mr. Donnie Hicks, and Tiffany's Restaurant into the 2020 Noble Public Schools Hall of Fame. For the last 21 years, the support of these gentlemen in their business, Noble Schools, has been important to our continued growth and success. They never say no. Gary and Donnie have given their time, their efforts, their financial support to countless groups, clubs, sports, activities within Noble Public Schools. Tiffany's Restaurant and the Hicks brothers provide meals for teams, for players, coaches, staff. Come in on their off days if need be to prepare meals for upcoming activities. It's another example of the willingness to go above and beyond to help fulfill the needs of everyone. They are a true model of a community partnership. In addition to supporting Noble Schools, Gary and Donnie have supported the Noble Public Schools Foundation for Academic Excellence, the community, local law enforcement agencies, veterans, individuals in need, senior citizens, and the list goes on and on. They provide funding for awards for the Noble Public School employees and students, and present a scholarship to a Noble High School senior in honor of their late mother. They are tireless advocates for a public school of Noble and our local businesses. Hand in hand, they make a difference. Mr. Gary Hicks, Mr. Donnie Hicks, Tiffany's Restaurant, and the restaurant staff have all made a positive impact on Noble Public Schools. It is with honor and pride that Noble Public Schools Foundation for Academic Excellence induct Mr. Gary Hicks and Mr. Donnie Hicks and Tiffany's Restaurant into the 2020 Hall of Fame class of Noble Public Schools. Appreciate you so much.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Okay. Our next recipient of the Hall of Fame award, please come forward as I read about you. Lyndall and Susan Cadell retired from the Noble Public School System in May 2020 after legendary careers. Lyndall and Susan were known as educators who had a passion for teaching students and modeling lifelong learning. Lyndall, a proud graduate of Noble High School, proudly served the students of Noble Public Schools for 45 years, while Susan, who loved teaching music and English, served the district for 40 years. 85 years of service from these two individuals. Wow. Until they retired, Lyndall and Susan could be found in their classrooms, updating lessons, attending professional development opportunities, collaborating with colleagues, and giving their unconditional support not only to Noble students, but also to public education. Lyndall started his teaching career at Noble in 1975. He's been a member, officer, representative, attendee, presenter, learner, educator, consultant, in countless organizations in his school, district, state, region, and nation, as well as internationally. He has long been an avid supporter and proponent of public education. Lyndall brought excitement to his subject areas with passion and extensive background knowledge. His energy and thirst for learning were never satisfied, and he brought that back to his school to sharpen his colleagues as well. Mr. Cadell showed his students that he supported them not just as students, but developed relationships and was someone to encourage them on their path to their life goals. He attended hundreds of middle school and high school athletic and academic competitions, artworks, music performances, and sponsored numerous clubs throughout his years teaching history in Noble. He and his wife, Susan, took small groups of students to events on the University of Oklahoma campus, to museums, and to natural and historical sites. Susan started her teaching career in Noble in 1980. She was known for teaching her students how to learn, teaching attention to detail, and teaching and expecting excellence of them. Her background as a musician taught her the importance of fine details and accuracy, which were harmony and beauty meet, rather than leading to the clashes of miscommunication and chaos. Her love of music is what led Susan to a career in education. Teaching music in Kenya while she was in college was a life-changing experience, igniting a love for other cultures that after teaching music for 8 years, she brought into the English classroom, introducing students through reading to utterly foreign, yet in some ways relatable, lives and experiences. Mrs. Cadell pushed her students rigorously to prepare them for college and to become professionals. Students would joke that they survived Mrs. Cadell's class. They even had t-shirts made that said that. But they would return years later to thank her for pushing them and how she prepared them to go on to further studies and jobs. According to Mrs. Cadell, it is thrilling to hear from former students that the skills and habits they learned and practiced in class were invaluable to them in their college and career choices. These are the happy heart moments when teachers truly know that they made a difference. After such an extensive career, several generations, including the children and grandchildren of former students, can all say that they were positively impacted by Mr. and/or Mrs. Cadell as teachers. It is with great honor that the Noble Public Schools Foundation for Academic Excellence inducts Mr. Lyndall Cadell and Mrs. Susan Cadell in the 2021 class of the Noble Public Schools Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That was wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Hall of Fame, they give a plaque to each of our Hall of Fame members, as well as we have one that hangs at central office. Being inducted is a really powerful thing. Congratulations to Lyndall and Susan, but I'd also like to acknowledge a few others that are in attendance, some former Hall of Fame members that we have with us. We have Mr. Dell Eastep, Mr. Ray Philpott, and Ms. Jeanette Smith. At this time, I would like to ask the family of D. Solomon to please come on stage. D. Solomon was a devoted teacher and coach. She proudly served the Noble School District for 30 years. She was a caring individual to all of her students and had a special place in her heart for students with special needs. Not only did she enjoy teaching and coaching, she loved to read and cook. Coach Solomon attended Ada High School and was a state champion basketball player. After graduation from high school, she continued her playing career at East Central University. She eventually moved to Norman and finished her bachelor's degree at the University of Oklahoma. In the spring of 1989, Dee started her career at Noble Public Schools and was a teacher at Curtis Inge Middle School up until the day she left this earth to join her son Trevor in heaven. Whether she went by Miss Solomon, Coach Solomon, Granddee, or Aunt Dee Dee, she was a friend to all who knew her. She was a devoted teacher, coach, wife, mother, grandmother, daughter, and sister who dedicated her life to helping others. She cared for everyone, regardless of their situations. Her house was not just a home to her own children, but to many other students that needed a place to stay. Her kitchen was always open, and her expertise in cooking always brought a smile to everyone fortunate enough to experience her creations. She was always a noble bear. It is with honor and pride that the Noble Public Schools Foundation for Academic Excellence induct Ms. Dee Solomon into the 2020 class of the Noble Public Schools Hall of Fame. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Solomon to come up and have a few closing comments. And again, I thank you guys for being here. What a 2 years we've had, and it's really nice to celebrate once again. Mr. Solomon.
I was talking to Erica one day, and I said, we got to have our awards banquet. We can't let the job that these employees do go unrecognized. It was difficult last year when we closed down in March. We did everything we could, but the fact is that we never got to say goodbye. We never got to say thank you. We never got to honor the people that deserve to be honored. And I said, I don't care what it looks like, we're going to make it happen. The health department said, well, you still can't have a meal. I said, that's fine, we won't. So when you leave here today, we have cake in individually sliced boxes with individually bottled water that you can take with you. So please stop by and get that. But the fact remains that public schools remain under attack, not only in Oklahoma, but around the United States. It's advocates like the people that belong to the foundation and the employees of Noble Public Schools that have to stand up and continue the fight to honor and to recognize the job we do. This beautiful facility here today is here because of the supporters of Noble Public Schools. My first awards banquet was in 2001, and it was in the cafeteria of Curtis Inge Middle School. Well, that's fine, but it doesn't stand up to this. This is done because the community and the supporters of Noble Public Schools voted a bond issue to allow us to do this. Like Dr. Myers said, we've done Charlie Brown, and now we did Beauty and the Beast, and now we're getting to have an awards ceremony in this fabulous facility. And it's all because of the people that support our mission. Our mission has to continue. We have to keep fighting. It gets tiring. It's old, I promise. It is. But that's our job. Our job is to make a difference to these kids, half of them which are mine, that are in here. But that's okay. The day I quit caring and quit trying to do what's best for them is the day I'm submitting my retirement paper and walking out the door. Yeah, it gets tired, it's frustrating, it's a battle, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Miss O'Brien, who you guys were introduced to, is retiring this year. I'm fortunate one of my grandkids got to be in her room. Miss Sasnet has had 2. Miss Thompson has had 2. I've got another one. They just keep coming. And I hope that they're all here, because I believe in Noble Public Schools, I believe in the employees, and I believe in the mission of the foundation. As Dr. Myers said, it's been unusual. It's been hard. We're tired. There's no doubt we are. But you know what? Noble Public Schools has been open every single day through this pandemic. Virtual school has its place for some students, but not for the majority of students. And our mission was, we have to find a way to stay open. I took a lot of heat for that. I have. Not only from outsiders, but from insiders too. I'm not here for me. I'm here for the kids in Noble Public Schools, and that has to be why we do our jobs. And it's awesome. It's a proud moment to be able to stand before you and say, we have kids that have moved into our school system because we were in session. Yeah, it's been hard. I get tired of wearing the mask. I do. We have lasers in every building. We have more wipes and sanitary products than you could ever imagine. But the truth is, we're still open. We're still in session. We had our plays. We had our athletics. We're even getting to have our awards banquet. And it's because of the dedication of the 350 members of the staff. It's also due to the dedication of the community that supported us when we were attacked by others. We have a mission. Our mission is to provide the best public education we possibly can, and we strive to do that every day. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for your support. If there's ever anything that any of us can do for you, that's why we're here. Let us know. Thank you. Stop by and get your cake. We appreciate you being here.